The Color of Your Eyes, written by Blackcatsassin, read by gutterratt1213. Chapter 7, Shoulder. Phil was standing outside, leaning against his car when he saw me approaching him. "And how was it?" he asked, grinning. "Not as bad as I thought," I answered, smiling. "It was quicker, and now I'm not a suspect anymore." "Of course," I said enthusiastically. Then my stomach growled. Phil burst out laughing while I looked away, blushing in embarrassment. "Come, little princess, let's get you something to eat before the entirety of Duskwood can hear you," Phil teased. "Hey, it wasn't that loud." I pouted a little as I crossed my arms, but then I had to laugh with him. Phil looked around. "We are close to the marketplace. If you want, we can take a walk there and eat dinner. I haven't eaten anything today either." I tilted my head, weighing my options. I haven't eaten anything since breakfast in my apartment, but on the other hand, I'm not thrilled to have Phil be the first guy to spend time with here in Duskwood. I had someone else entirely on my mind. My stomach growled again. "Okay, this is getting really embarrassing." Why not?" I shrugged. "But it's not a date," I added firmly. Phil made a sad face, pretending to wipe an imaginary tear from his face. I couldn't help but burst out laughing. The laughing made me feel so much better. Phil was grinning, and he stroked my cheek, which made me stop. "You look so much better when you're smiling," he whispered. He looked at me intensely. I was aware of our proximity, so I started to walk away immediately. "Let's find something to eat." Phil walked beside me, his hands in his pockets, whistling. I tried to hide my red cheeks. What am I doing? Just because Jake hasn't contacted me in like 9 days doesn't mean I should jump into the next available guy. I remember what Richy once told me, to stay away from Phil as best I could. We entered the marketplace, and I was enjoying the atmosphere in the old buildings. We have all kinds of restaurants and eating places. Cafe Rainbow, there's an Italian restaurant, there's a burger place, and a bit further down there is the Aurora. Phil was pointing towards the street. "Looks nice here," I commented in awe. "Yeah, we also have a Chinese restaurant." Phil turned me around, showing me another street, and I saw red lanterns. My smile immediately disappeared. "No, anything but that." "Are you okay?" Phil asked as he looked at me. "You're pale. Should we sit down for a while?" I nodded as Phil gestured to a bench. I covered my face, trying to calm down my breathing. "You're hyperventilating. Try to calm your breathing," Phil suggested as he stroked my back. I nodded while trying to hold back my tears. Why is it that anything that reminds me of Jake makes me feel like a wreck? Why can't I just act as usual and move on with life like any other person? Why can't I function normally without him? Why am I still so much in love with a guy I've never even heard his voice, let alone know what he looks like? I'm fucked up, and all because of a guy. Shit. It took 10 minutes for me to finally be able to breathe normally. I sat up and patted my cheeks, my usual ritual to pull myself together. Phil was just looking at me, a hint of sadness in his eyes. "I'm okay now. I will be fine," I reassured him. "Are you sure?" he asked worriedly. "I just need some time, but I will be fine, promise." I smiled, but then my smile faded. Again, something that reminded me of Jake. My throat hurts, and I'm so close to the verge of breaking down. Phil took off his sunglasses from his forehead, putting them away, and turned towards me, now looking very serious. "Leah," he said firmly. I gulped. I'm probably not as strong as I thought. If Phil was going to bore me further for details, I might lose control, and then I really will become a mess. Not an ideal first impression. "I can see that something is bothering you. I know you don't view me as the most trustworthy person, but you can talk with me, really." He was now holding both of my cheeks as he looked deep into my eyes. He had such beautiful black eyes and long eyelashes. I wondered if Jake's eyes were also black. "Let it all out. I'm here," he whispered. I trembled and started to sob. "Can I borrow your shoulder for a moment?" Phil smiled and opened his arms. "If you want, I can even offer you my chest." I couldn't hold it anymore and just crashed my face into his chest, crying and sobbing hysterically. Phil was holding me tightly, squeezing me while stroking my back. I needed a bit of comfort from someone, anyone, after the horrors I went through. I didn't want to put my misery in the spotlight, but the events in Duskwood have put a toll on me. I was haunted by nightmares. I had several panic attacks every time my phone showed the word unknown. I looked over my shoulder every time I was outside, and I started to be afraid to sleep in the dark. I gladly would have gone through it all if I knew that the people genuinely meant it when they said they liked me. I remembered how Jessy reassured me that I was now part of their friend circle. I remember how Cleo defended me. I remember how Lilly tried her best to make up for the video. Truth was that I was approached by many people after that video. I got nasty calls, even to this day. I was almost hacked by the strange and scary people who were after Jake. I was one of the prime suspects in Hannah's disappearance, and yet that didn't deter me from helping Jake and the others look for her. I was tormented by the man without a face, who turned out to be one I considered a friend. I was betrayed, hunted, hurt, and my name was being dragged through the mud. And for what? For unrequited love and false friendships. Yet, I miss my friends, and I worry sick for Jake's safety. I just couldn't help it.